This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming Danielle Richardson. Danielle has a podcast called the Lament of Hope Podcast. I can't remember how I discovered it. It's been almost a year now. I think somebody I knew was on it. I mean, I have interviewed people that she's interviewed, but I can't remember. I've subscribed to so many podcasts over the years. I can't even remember the origins of how I found a lot of them anymore. But nevertheless, she's a wonderful young lady who is a devout Christian and the good kind. And she interviews a lot of celebrities, especially ones I know, and she just talks about their journey with them. And she approaches it with such kindness and empathy and compassion and just wonderment. And I just knew I had to reach out to her to have her on. I want to find out more about her and how she goes about booking her show and talk pop culture. And I am so excited for this interview. I've been looking forward to it for a while now, and it's going to be so awesome. And after, celebrating 11 years yesterday, since my car crash, I can tell you, I just feel so darn lucky every day. It's just a blessing. I know I keep saying this. I know it's become a cliche, but it's true. So yeah, here is my interview with Danielle Richardson. Hey Danielle, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's weird to be on the other side. I'm not usually interviewed, so
Yeah. Yes, well, it's
I
good.
do all the interviewing.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so excited.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for asking me. It's an honor.
Absolutely. So, let's start with your background. You're from Virginia?
So I grew up in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
but then I moved to Virginia for college, and I've been there. I've been here since 2018.
Uh-huh. What part of Pennsylvania are you from?
So I spent the majority of my childhood near Philly, so right outside
Nice.
of it.
Nice. I know a lot about Pennsylvania. I'm a big fan of the George Romero movies. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. Um, you're a devout Christian
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
and you teach Sunday school?
I don't teach Sunday school. I usually assist the Sunday school teacher, but
Oh,
I do teach when he's out. So now and then I do.
got it. And is there anything else you do besides podcasting and doing that teaching?
I mean, the podcasting is, I mean, it's my passion. I love doing it, but I do have a normal, I don't want to say normal job. I do have a job that makes money. Um, I'm a legal assistant, so I do work for like briefs and writing different things, and scheduling for an attorney. So that's what I do during the day. And
Hmm.
then my podcasting is my nighttime hobby.
Nice, nice. So, are you on the trajectory of working in law?
No, I don't want to. I think the job has shown me that um, attorneys are people with a very special drive, and I really respect that drive, but it's just not where my heart is because I really like to engage in conversations with people of different areas, and I don't have, I really enjoy a conversation
Hmm.
more than anything. And attorneys do a lot of paperwork, they work a lot with a particular subject matter, and then you have to go to school for a very long time. You have to
Right.
also be extremely just a strong individual because you have to um, go to court and you have to argue for cases. And I'm not gifted in that way. I'm much more, I like to talk things out. I like to work things through. It's just not my personality, but I do really respect attorneys, but working for one has shown me that it's just not something that I would be good at.
Yeah. What, if I may ask, what does your husband do?
He's actually in seminary right now, so he's getting his degree in biblical counseling.
Nice.
And then his full-time job, so he has full-time school, and then his full-time job is working at, what is the word I'm looking for? Working at a digital company.
Mm-hmm. Is it like a startup company?
Yes, a startup company.
Yeah, that's become a new popular term in the American zeitgeist. Um,
I know. It's, you know, it's interesting because a startup company can even be something that's only what, 10 years? I mean,
mhm.
it takes a long time to get things going. I mean, I don't know if you experience this with your podcast, but for me it's like you work on something for a couple years and it starts gaining traction, 2.5 years later, whatever it is. You can't give up. You keep working at it.
Mhm.
And then, Lord willing, you get a break, whether it be for podcasters, a guest that people really want to listen to, or for a company, you get the right client to engage with your product. And then before you know it, people know you. But
Yeah.
it's just like persevering. That's basically the name of the game for um, startups.
Yeah. I've only in the last 3, 4 years now, people are starting to know who I am and stuff and know more. It's been a wild ride, and there's been periods where I've wanted to give up for various reasons, but I'm glad I've kept going. It'll be 9 years in May. It's just been a miracle.
I know. I mean, well, I mean, you've done over 2,000. I mean, I'm at 200 and something. And that's incredible to me that you've been, um, like, I was looking at all of the guests you've had and your perseverance. I mean, it's pretty incredible to me because, like, that was one reason why I wanted to do this. Because, I've gotten
Oh,
people asking me, do you want to have a conversation or can I be on your podcast? And I'm just like, I don't know you. And then I'll look at their stuff and I'll be like, it's not interesting to me. But I looked at yours and my husband was sitting across from me.
hmm.
Um, and it was like, oh my goodness. I said, this guy has done over 2,000 interviews. It's incredible.
It's funny, I mean, my whole life I've made plans and the plans never went through, but this is the first time like a plan of mine went through. I knew I wanted to interview all my heroes, a lot of people I respect, I knew I wanted to do a podcast, at least 5 days a week or more, because I grew up listening to Howard Stern on the radio and stuff, and it's come together, and it's just amazed me. It's amazed my family. It's just I don't know how I've done it. I'm just passionate. I know that. I just don't know how I've been able to have the energy to do this.
Well, I mean, your story you told me is amazing. I mean, I saw it and I was like, I want this guy to be on my podcast. I was like, wow.
Oh,
Um,
I'll be happy to. Absolutely.
like
So,
what you've,
go ahead.
go. Oh, I was just gonna say what you've been able to overcome. It's pretty impressive.
I've overcome a lot. Every day, I'm learning new and new stuff um, about myself and just my past and everything. It's just been so profound. But I can't remember how I discovered your show. I'm at the point now where I listen to so many podcasts weekly. I can't remember the origins of how I find podcasts anymore. Also, I'm turning 43 this summer, so the brain's going from 100% to somewhere in the 90s. But I think, but But I think I discovered yours from an algorithm search on YouTube. I think somebody we mutually interviewed came up, and that's how I discovered yours. But so, how did you begin your show?
So I actually began it 2.5 years ago now, and it was just this. Um, I was just like, you know what? There was this. There was a singer I admired who, isn't on a big scale, but I was just like, you know what? I wonder if I could just start a series with my blog that I have, um, and see if I can interview her and just have fun. I
Mm-hmm.
had no plans to make this a big deal. I was going to do one interview and that was it. And to my shock, she got my message and she was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it with you." And it was a big deal for me at the time because, I mean, she didn't know me. I wasn't a bona fide, news source of any kind. I didn't have any other interviews to show for her.
Right.
But she did it with me, and I was on the call with her for about an hour, and I loved it. I just loved talking to her. I loved knowing about her life. It was just amazing. And so I decided I'm going to keep going with this. So it started out as a glimpse into a life series, was what I called it. But then by the time I got to, I don't remember what episode number it was, I was like, I'm going to make this a podcast. I'm going to put this on YouTube. And then I had people telling me you should put this on Spotify and Apple so that people who are traveling can listen to it, because I had a lot of friends who are, saying, I really want to listen to it, but I can't watch it. I need it to be on audio.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you knew it, I just kept getting more and more people who wanted to do the interviews. And so I ended up just like people from around the world, totally different backgrounds, perspectives, and I started getting interviews with, like Brian Cox and Viggo Mortensen and these people that I never thought I'd have an opportunity to talk to. But what was so cool about it is that determination and perseverance was a big thing. That seemed to be pretty, I would, like Viggo Mortensen, I waited a couple years before there was just the right time, because he was filming, then he was promoting something, and then finally there was an opening for him. And it was just kind of patience and perseverance and doing my research, and also just like thinking outside the box. Like when I was looking at your podcast, you had all of these people that, if you watch older movies, you know who they are. But also the cool thing about it was a lot of these people we loved at some point. And then I think, as you say in your podcast, like we forget about it because, new movies come out. There's a new generation. But I grew up with a lot of the older generation movies. And so I kept thinking, I wonder if these people are alive. I wonder what they're doing. And so then I ended up being able to find all of these different people, like Shani Wallace, who was the original Nancy and Oliver. I mean, she's 92 now, but she doesn't do interviews anymore. She's like no one knows where she is. I tracked her down and I was like, listen, I really want to interview you. I know you're older now. I know that you're not doing movies, but like, I really want to know your story. And then, I don't know, 6 months later, after finally connecting with her, we did an interview and it was the best thing ever. And she still sings like she did when she was in Oliver.
Yeah.
So I've been so amazed and blessed at how many people are like, yeah, I'd love to sit down and have a conversation about things other than what I do. And that has just been really cool to see people opening up and talking about life. And obviously, with just all that's going on in the world now, I think a lot of people are hungry for a platform where they can just kind of vent.
Yeah.
And talk about what they're thinking, what life means to them. So, yeah, 2.5 years later, we're not at the 2000th podcast episode like you are. You've been doing it for way longer than me, but we are chugging along twice a week, and it's continued to be awesome guests and keep going. So I'm telling you, I did not think I'd be here 2.5 years ago. I didn't think this was going to be a thing. But it has become what it has become. So here we are.
I've never had like a number goal of how many interviews I wanted to do, and I think that's why I've gotten to this point, and I tell anybody, don't worry about numbers, whether it's followers or how many episodes you've done, just do it, and then sit back and relax later and go, wow, I've gotten, to that place in numbers. That's the best thing to do, because if you just worry about the numbers, you get stressed out and you make yourself sick.
No, you're right, but I don't know about you, but I have really struggled. Like there was a period, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so, where I was just really discouraged because like there are these people who are podcasters, content creators,
Mm-hmm.
who put out content that you're like, why is anyone wanting to listen to this?
Right.
Whether it's just it doesn't have meaning of any kind. It's just like, random stuff. And they have millions of followers, and you're plugging along doing the hard work, and you keep going, oh, no one can see it, or when they do see it and they're like, oh, this is amazing, you go to the next thing and you're hitting a roadblock again. And I think it's just, that's something, like when you're saying not worry about numbers, that is something that I have to keep reminding myself, because it can be really discouraging, because you think in your mind, this is where I should be at this point, but it's not where you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, since the pandemic, there have been so many guys starting podcasts, and I just cringe and I wonder, like, how they've gotten any kind of attention. When I reach out to people who don't even know who I am and stuff, some of them kind of lump me into the category of a guy who probably started it during the pandemic, and I didn't. I started it in 2017, and and a lot of these guys, they walk through their research, and they don't really have pre-existing knowledge of the person's career other than the thing that they're mostly known for. But me, I've always been a researcher, and, as they say, a student of this stuff. I've been that way my whole life, and so when they do the interview with me, they're just impressed by my knowledge, and they're happy to come back on, or they know somebody that I'm a huge fan of that they'll connect me with. It's been an amazing domino effect. And that whole term, influencer, I'm not a fan of that term now. It's become a pejorative, or YouTuber has become a pejorative. I try to avoid those labels and say, I'm a historian who loves pop culture, and I just want to have a conversation. I'm not trying to cure cancer or set the world on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to live out my dream is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, no, I don't think of being an influencer in any way. Honestly, the people I look up to in
Hmm.
life aren't influencers. Not in the sense of like on a big scale, like who are going out into the world and saying I'm an influencer. It's usually the people who don't mean to be, or
Hmm.
just make an impact in some small way to me, that those are the people that I'm actually like, I would like to be like you, or do something that you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like you. It's like influencer, the term that's used for social media,
Hmm.
I'm not actually influenced by. So,
That's good. That's good. So here's the list of guests that I've had that you've also had: Katie Lee, Judy Norton, Adrienne Barbeau, Lucy Arnaz, Joyce Bulifant, Wesley Ure, Samantha Mathis. I'd like to ask you about some of these guests and relate to the experience. I was impressed by your Adrienne Barbeau interview, because there are moments in there where you got her to be vulnerable in some cases. Based on my experience with her and other people's, I've listened to dozens of podcast interviews she's done over the years, and she's always very shallowy, and she does that fake nervous laugh, and she always says no to the question followed by an explanation, anecdote. And I quite frankly think that's her way of saying read my book without even saying that, because she wrote a very revealing tell-all book about 20 years ago, and I don't think she wants to rehash anything, but because, she's an actor, she doesn't want to disappoint. That's why she does interviews, if that makes sense. I think
Yeah.
you did a good job with her.
No, yeah, I really enjoyed talking with her. I think it was really cool when she shared about her Armenian background, which I had no idea.
Right.
And I think it also helped too that she didn't have to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I think I usually don't, if somebody says to me, I don't want to be on camera, I usually will always be like, okay, why? And if they say, I usually it might be fear based, so I try to distill that. But if somebody really doesn't want to be just for the sake of it, like they're like, I just don't want to get ready for it, or I don't want to have to be prepped.
Yep.
Then I'm like, that's fine. It's totally fine. If it's going to be a nervous blocker for you, I'd much rather we have the conversation than you be on camera. But she didn't want to be on camera, if I remember, like Kelly Bishop. And it wasn't I think it was just because she didn't want to have to get prepped and everything, which I totally understand. And I don't know. I mean, I think maybe that's why you do audio. I think there is a level of comfortability if you can't see the person.
Mm-hmm.
You're just talking to a screen, and that screen isn't looking back at you, and you can just talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there is a level of that, but I also think, like, as an interviewer, like with what you're saying about how you try to know a person and know about them, so you're showing interest before you even start the interview.
Right.
They are not coming in asking questions, they've already been asked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really try not to do. Obviously, you kind of have to start out, so maybe something's going to sound like something that someone else has said, or, what made you want to become an actor? What do you love about acting? But I found that if I start asking questions that I would ask anybody that are just, outside of what they do, what movies they were in, and just try to go a little deeper,
yeah,
I think people are just genuinely like, oh, you kind of want to know me as a person. You're not thinking of me as my particular character from this film or this series. You actually want to get to know me and have that connection.
Yeah.
And I think that is special for people. So I don't know if for Adrienne that was why she wanted to talk a bit more. I mean, I know that she definitely referenced her book, I believe, and we definitely did talk about some of her films and things she's done. But I think it does surprise people, and they're like, oh, this person wants to get to know me. And so then they don't have to feel so on. It's almost like if you're an actor or a singer, at least to me, because I don't know about you, but I do enjoy watching, other interviews like you mentioned. And I noticed that most other interviews are always, very performative. The person comes on the show, they are dressed a certain way, they're acting a certain way, but then if they're in a different setting, they're totally different. And it's always been so refreshing to me to see an actress or see an influencer or whatever it is be the same in every single interview. Right. But it's not very common. People kind of take on the persona of whoever they're talking to.
Right.
And I really like, for me, one gift is that, and sometimes I've hit a block wall where the person I'm talking to isn't warming up and they're just continuing. But most of the time, the walls kind of come down and they're just themselves.
Right.
And I think that is the goal of any interview, is just to make the person comfortable. And then before you know it, you're having a much better conversation, because you don't want them to feel like they're acting and doing another role in your interview. You know what I mean?
Right. Have you had a guest say, don't release it?
Have I had a guest say don't release it? I had one who said that I didn't end up releasing because there was some publicity. I interviewed the person before publicity for that particular studio was going to go out, and so they wanted the actor thought it best to hold off on it before putting it out, just in case it would collide with publicity that they wanted to save for later. But no, I've never had someone tell me don't put it out because of what I said.
I've had people say don't release it because they heard it beforehand and the sound quality wasn't great. There was one time I chose not to release it because the guest was kind of rude and just like it killed the rest of my day, I remember, and so I've never released it. And she had no problem with that. She was kind of a sociopath anyway, so it it didn't matter.
No, I mean, I've had interviews that started out where the person was very rude, but the interview didn't go on. Like, it either ended, like, I was like, I think there's one interview I remember where I had, the person came on, they were really struggling for some reason with the technology, which was Zoom at the time. And I couldn't help them because, I wasn't on that side of the camera. So I was just kind of like waiting and everything. And then I mispronounced her name by accident because I was so nervous. Because I'd gotten so flustered by how long this had taken and how angry she seemed that it was taking so long. And she just like said, "That's not my name, you should know it," and hung up.
Jeez.
And I thought to myself, okay. And I, like you, it did. It spoiled, like, it caused a little bit of a damper in my night. But I was like, you know what? If I'm talking to someone who doesn't even have the grace to go, hey, can we actually just redo that because you mispronounced my name? Or at least ask, hey, like, are you nervous? Or, like, can we redo it? I was like, do I want to interview a person like that? Because it's like, I want to have a good conversation. And if you're going to shut me down before I've even started, do I want to have a conversation? And, like, the person ended up emailing me and saying, I'm sorry, but blah, 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 blah. And I just said to her, I'm not interested in doing it again. Like, it was not, I don't remember the exact wording I used, but I was just like, that was really hurtful and it was not professional. And I'm just not going to go ahead and do it. And that was kind of cool for me. And I don't know for you, like, you didn't have to publish it, like you have, this is your platform. And so you can also go, you know what? I did not feel that in that interview, you were taking this seriously or respecting what I was doing. And so you don't have to publish it. And I think that's important because if you're just publishing whatever you do, even if it turns out that it ended up being a terrible interview for whatever reason, your podcast, whether it's famous or not, is yours, and you're creating the aura. And so you don't want to make it a place where people are grimacing as they're listening to it,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had numerous incidents, especially in the last few years, that I've gotten a little bit higher profile people where they've just been rude to me before the interview started. And I tell everybody this when I'm doing a phone interview, I like to just go right into the interview. I don't want to have any pre-interview talk or anything, right? But then there's been times where they've insisted on pre-interview talk because they're not very good with technology and they didn't read my bio I sent them or listen to previous episodes or anything, and they've just been super rude to me, like they're being suspicious. They're asking me, oh, what we're going to talk about, because they did something in their past that they don't want brought up, which I don't even care about. I'm not out to get anybody. I want to talk about their careers and stuff. And I fired back at them and stuff, and then we went ahead and did it, and what have you, and then sometimes I'll get that one guest who at the end is, oh, by the way, when's this coming out, and stuff, and I'm like, so I drop it, a few hours after we do it, once I have time to edit and everything, so yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope, but, it's our passion, it's why we do it.
Yeah, and you also, we're it's interesting because we're coming from a place where we kind of have to prove that we're worth talking to.
Right.
And they're coming from a place where they've already proved that they're worth talking to so many people.
Exactly.
So you're coming up to them and you're like, hey, give me an opportunity to talk to you. And a lot of times it's like, why? Which is a valid question, but at the same time, you're right. There is, because there's so many other bigger names that have already talked to them, it's like, why should I talk to you?
Right.
So that's what we're always fighting. It's like we're persevering. We're like, hey, I actually have some good questions. I do have a platform that will be encouraging to you. So like, let me have a chance. And that's the cool thing, because I don't know about you, but I've had so many people say, I loved this interview.
Oh, yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I was going, oh, I've been trying to get this for so long, and I really wish you'd let me come sooner, because I really have something good that I want to bring to you. And so it's cool when someone says, I actually really thought this was good. I'm like, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get verbal praise, I get social media praise, and there'll be some people I'll have a good experience with, but then I'll never hear from them again. I'm like, okay, that's not a good sign. I did something wrong. But yeah, for the most part, I've gotten a lot of praise the last few years. I've gotten better as an interviewer. There's certain podcasts I listen to remind myself how not to be an interviewer, and I can't believe I started out sounding just like them when I go back and listen to the old shows, which I rarely do.
Oh my gosh, I know. I have done that before, very rarely. I have listened to one that I did when I started, and I'm like, oh, this person had so much patience for me. I was such a failure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think too when I hear mine. Joyce Bulifant is one of my very favorite guests I've ever talked to. She is so funny with that
I
little.
loved her.
She's
Yes.
so funny with that little voice, and she's so smart too. You have to be smart to play dumb, in acting roles, And
Yes.
I think you
Yeah.
did great with her. I got to talk to Lucy Arnaz last summer. I was just, oh my God. So when I had my car accident in 2015, and when I woke up from my coma, my mom told me something that I don't remember. She said that I had died and went to comedy heaven, and I was up there with Lucy and Robin Williams and Joan Rivers, and I told her the story at the end, and I was so emotional. The fact that I'm telling the daughter of Lucille Ball that story, I had to get it out because it was on my mind a lot. And she said to me, you have so much knowledge for entertainment. I'm not surprised that Mom and Robin and Joan like met up with you in heaven.
No, I loved her too. She was so real. That's what I loved about her.
Yeah.
Like I felt instantly comfortable.
It's
And
it's
I
not
love that.
it's not easy being the icon of famous people. And I think at this
Yeah,
point,
and especially of people that you were children of. It's not like it's your
yeah,
fame, it's theirs. And then you have this,
right.
I think there is also this burden in a sense, whether good or bad, to carry on their legacy.
Hmm. I think one of the reasons why she's semi-retired now is because I think she knows at this point she's not going to have her own identity as a performer, and everyone sees her as Lucy and Desi's daughter, and I think she's starting to embrace it, whether she likes it or not, if that makes sense.
I don't think the media will let her go away.
Yeah, yeah,
Every anniversary of Lucy and her husband Desi, or every new film about them, she's always got to be interviewed.
right, right. I saw your Samantha Mathis interview the other night. I had a weird experience with her years ago. I'm curious when you two weren't recording, what was your experience like with her? Good.
Yeah, no, I really liked her. I mean, I think she, obviously she was busy. I mean, she was in the middle of having
Yeah.
to perform. And she had a show a couple hours later, so like she was taking her time to do this. And she spent like almost an hour with me. I mean, she was really, um, it was kind of her to do that. She also, I really appreciated, our personalities were definitely different, but I
Hmm.
think we resonated on a lot of things growing up, like, our childhoods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed, like, her. She wasn't afraid to be who she was.
Right.
Now, she just did. She just said what she felt. She just said what she believed. And I appreciated that because I was like, I'd much rather you be one or the other and not in between. Just tell me what you think. And she wasn't afraid to tell me, even if we weren't agreeing on the same thing or even if we didn't see it the same way.
Yeah.
But she would listen to what I'd have to say, and then she would say what she would have to say. And I felt like by the end of the interview, I knew her way better than I had ever known her before. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good experience.
I met her in 2017 at a convention. My brother went with me, and he's had a struggle with alcoholism over the years, and he wanted to tell her, about how he had a crush on her when he was growing up, and he did. And I think it made her a little uncomfortable. He said you were my first crush after Molly Ringwald, and she said, "Oh, everybody had a crush on Molly Ringwald, even I did," and and he got her autograph and stuff. I interjected. I said how much I loved her mother's work and stuff. And then a year later, after I've had the podcast for a while, I reached out to her on Twitter to have her on, and I had to go through her manager, and which I almost never do nowadays. I get everybody directly for the most part now. But I set it up with her manager. We had like 30 minutes. She was doing a series for Netflix at the time that she was promoting, and she was doing an episode the day of the interview. So we did it for like 30 minutes. I don't know. I just didn't. It was, my first year of the podcast. I didn't think I had much of a connection with her in that 30 minutes, and she actually tried to end it like 2 minutes early, and stuff, and just I don't know, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, that experience and stuff. But she follows me on social media now and everything, but I'm like, yeah, she's interesting.
Well, I think the hard thing is that every person has, like, that's another thing. And
Hmm.
this is something that I've tried to help myself with too, to not take things personally, because even if things don't go the way I want them to go,
Hmm.
because I also had an interview before where someone was trying to, or like as soon as the mark came up where they needed to end it,
Hmm.
they did. And you realize that the person on the other end may not be enjoying it as much as you are or you
Right.
would want them to.
Right.
But the cool thing that I remind myself is like, okay, well, this is a day they're having. I'm having my day. And like our days could be totally different. Their day could be going badly. My day could be going well, vice versa. Or it could also be they're not feeling well. Like there's just so many reasons why an interview may not be going well.
Hmm.
And then there's also that thing of like maybe you just don't, like, you and the interviewee are just not vibing. It's just not, the energy's not there. And I've had that happen
Right.
before. And it's disappointing because then you start beating yourself up and you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
But it's more of just like maybe this person and you are just not the type that are going to get along super well in a conversation, in the sense of like, this is going to be so chummy and we're going to be laughing and we're going to be
Right.
um, coming together in so many topics and going, I think that too, and maybe totally
Hmm.
different. And I think just getting through that interview, being professional, and finishing it out, and you know what can I learn from this? What, maybe I asked a question the wrong way, or maybe I could learn from this that, okay, maybe when I'm starting to feel that this interview isn't going as well as I wanted it to, maybe a shorter interview will actually make it better than the amount of time I wanted to have. And I've had that because, my goal is always to go a little, I like to go 45 minutes to an hour with whoever I'm talking to,
Hmm.
because I think that's when you can start having a good conversation. But sometimes I've talked to people or, a manager or whatever, and it's like they only have 20 minutes.
Ugh.
So it's either take the 20 minutes or don't talk to them.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, well, what do I do in 20 minutes? Well, you're just going to have to come up with something,
Yeah.
connect on some level. Ask, like, maybe you're going to have to start out with a harder question as opposed to starting out with the softer ones. It's kind of like, what in this repertoire like means the most to you and why, instead of starting out with, why did you start singing?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this But I'm totally with you in the sense of it's so hard sometimes when you're in an interview and you have an expectation and it's not met. So that is really hard.
Yeah, I mean, certain people are not into the long form interview like I am and stuff, and I don't mind doing short ones and stuff. I'm just such a super fan of a lot of people. I gotta get everything in because I may never talk to them again, you know. And I know they talk about this stuff all the time and stuff, so I try to come up with original things to ask, you know. But yeah, it's interesting. I was
Well, I
Go
would.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask really quickly when you said you go
Mhm.
directly to people.
Yeah.
Is it easier for you to do that because most of the and this forgive me because I didn't listen to all of yours, all 2000 and
You
more.
can't. You
So,
can't.
yeah, anyone I'm plugging here who's listening to this man's podcast, he has so many people. You'll find somebody you're bound to know from something.
Yeah.
But um I wanted to ask you, like, if you have that many people you're interviewing that are from, like you say, like you want people to remember them and remember their work,
Right.
is it easier to reach them directly that way than someone
Yes.
who might have, like, millions of followers where, like, if you tag them in something, the chances of them responding are very small?
It's easier to go directly. Yeah. Tagging them. I don't think I've done that necessarily. I've tagged people who are like my Facebook friends that keep telling me they're going to come on the show and never do and stuff. Like every year I do Christmas acknowledgments to all my guests, and then I do one where I tag all the people who haven't come on yet, and some of them, react to the post or comment, but most of them are uncomfortable, of course. And I'm like, well, good, because they keep telling me they're going to do it, but they don't do it. And, it's been years with some of these people, you
I
know?
know, isn't that is hard, isn't it? You're
Yeah,
like, guys, come on, you said you could.
exactly. And a lot of them have, so far, but a lot of them haven't. And we'll see what the future holds. I was impressed that you got Susan Hubley because she's notorious for turning down interviews. Like, what sparked that? Were you like a fan of the Elvis movie she was in?
No, so this is gonna crack you up. I grew up watching the Partridge Family.
Oh yeah, I remember when she
And
was on there. Yeah.
yes, and I remember the episode where she was the princess who comes to visit and
Mm-hmm.
Keith thinks that she's super cute.
Yeah.
And I saw her in that episode and I thought to myself, this woman looks so pretty. Like just in a nice like girl next door way, but in a way where she seems so approachable. And I was like, I wonder what this person's like in real life. So then I was able to connect with her, and she ended up being super nice.
Yeah.
Um, but that's actually how I was introduced to her. I hadn't seen the Elvis movie.
Oh, it's great. My mom indoctrinated me into being an Elvis fan, and so it was on all the time. We had to watch it and stuff. And of course,
Oh, I wish Elvis was alive. You do not know. I would want to interview him so badly. I have so many questions.
yeah. Well,
So many. And Robin Williams,
oh yeah,
Tommy, that interview would be a dream. That
yeah,
would be a dream.
yeah. God. You had Bruce Spence. I was like, wow, because I grew up on the Mad Max movies and stuff. But at the beginning of the interview, he said he had no interest in talking about his movie career, and I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh God, what's this interview going to be like? And then, yeah, he got very deep and insightful.
I know. I was surprised by that too because I mean, I didn't know where it was going to go. I don't always
Hmm.
know. Most of the time I don't. But he was very thoughtful, thought-provoking. I also was very like honored that he'd be willing to share about some of the stuff he'd been through as a younger guy.
Yeah.
Um no, and like it was cool. I don't know about you, but I always enjoy interviewing individuals who are like older. I don't
Yes.
know, they just have a
Yes.
lot of good things to say.
I agree. I love older because they've been there, and they just got great stories. I've been lucky to interview so many old timers before they passed. I just, Been so lucky. Probably the oldest.
Oh, tell me some. Tell me some.
Well, I gotta tell you this. The oldest person I have ever interviewed is still alive, and he's 99. David Frankham. He was an English actor who worked with Vincent Price a lot, and Boris
Oh,
Karloff,
wow.
and he was on Star Trek. And yeah, he's. I just realized the other day he's 90. He's 99, going to be 100 this year, and he's still alive. um,
Wow. Did
Marion.
you get a chance to
Mhm.
interview Mary Tyler? Well, no.
No,
She probably passed away before you started. I would have loved to talk to her.
I had Ed Asner before he died.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Gotta listen to that interview.
Yeah, the sound is a little shitty, but and it's. I told his publicist, I said, get him on his landline because it's a better sound. But there was some confusion in the house earlier, and they happened to be in a room with the cell phone, and I was just like, all right, well. A lot of people listened to it. It went semi-viral, but a lot of people liked it. They could hear what he was saying, but just like for my ears, it's embarrassing. But it's a good interview overall. I mean, he was tough to talk to, but then once I started asking him about his autistic son and the union pension controversy, then he really opened up to me.
Well, that's probably because you hit on something he actually cared about, which is
Yes.
cool.
He sued the union before his death too, and I knew that was going to happen. I could just hear it in his voice about how disgusted he was because he used to be union president. So that was a profound one. People like him, Marion Ross, who played Mrs. Cunningham on Happy Days. I had her on in early 2020. My parents were so proud of me. I mean, up to that point, they were so happy that I was interviewing all the people that I was, but that was a big one for them because they grew up on that show and they were just astounded.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yes. And God, you've had Angela Cartwright. I've been trying for years to get her, and I can't pin her down. You had Pat Boone. You had Karen Dotrus. Oh my God, Roman Polanski's victim. God, that just you've done some great things in such a short amount of time.
Well, thank you. That's actually very encouraging to hear. It's like and it sounds like you've experienced this longer. It's hard work.
Very hard
It's
work.
hard work. And it's perseverance. It is
Mm-hmm.
perseverance. Like when you said you tag people to remind them of what they told you before.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I I definitely was more outgoing in some ways, but I never would I was very I don't think I was I think I've had to grown in my persistence. Like I've always been more nervous to bring it up again.
Mm-hmm.
But then the more I started out with this, and I don't know if you do this, but I was
Mm-hmm.
I started saying if someone would say reach out to me in 2 months, they're probably thinking I'm not going to reach out to them, and I'm thinking I'm putting this in a folder
Yeah.
for the month of whatever,
Exactly.
and I'm going to reach out.
I do it too.
And you keep doing
Yep.
it. Yes.
Yep. I do that too.
You do not give up.
They do not think I'm going to reach out to them, but then when they do, some of them panic, some of them I end up not talking to, and some of them I do, and they are completely disarmed by me, and they're like, God, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, because it shows you care. You're like, guys, I actually want you on my show. This isn't a joke.
Exactly. I say this is a serious inquiry. I've talked to all your friends. They can all vouch for me. All that stuff. And I wanted to bring up
Well,
you. Go ahead.
Well, can I just ask? I know you're asking me, so I want to be respectful of that, but I did want to ask,
okay.
Do you have someone you really want to interview? Because, I have people I still really want to that I don't know if I'll ever get to.
Oh, yeah. I want Valerie Landsberg from the show Fame. We've been going back and forth on Instagram for about 4 years, and she's been
Seriously?
Yeah, she's been ghosting
4
me.
years? Go Tommy!
She's been ghosting me, but I hope it's going to happen because I'm like her biggest fan, and I love her singing voice. And there's people I've taken off the list because I've heard that they're not good people or anything like that. And I've seen it in certain interviews. So, Yeah, Valerie Landsberg at the moment is like the big bucket list guest I want.
Well, I hope you get to interview her.
I hope so too.
4 years. That is wow. I have not yet had someone that long because I haven't been doing this that long. But wow, that's incredible.
I was reaching out to her for 7 years, but I think what made her respond finally was I had interviewed a friend of hers who interviewed her on his podcast around that time, and I think that's what sparked the interest a little bit. But I don't know why she's been ghosting me since then. But I'll surely find out. I hope.
Yeah, though maybe you don't want to ask that question. That might not
No.
be a good one for the interview.
No. I don't bring up that kind of stuff. I wanted to bring up you did a sex addiction episode. I appreciated that so much. I come from a family of sex addiction, and I have it myself, and I'm very open talking about it on the podcast. I do sex positivity episodes during the month of May because I think it's very important, and I have actresses I'm friends with who are like-minded coming on, and we talk about sex, or I talk with porn stars or sex educators on the subject to get perspective on sex, and I thought that was a really good episode.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think it's important that we know where people are coming from, why they, because like I think the lady you're referring to is talking about pornography and the dangers of that,
Right.
and the hurt that can cause. And I think it's important that we talk about it. And I know in the Christian community, we're not always great about talking about things like that. When when I was growing up, people handed you a book and said, learn about it. And you didn't really ask many questions after that, which doesn't help. You need to talk about it. And the Bible talks about it a lot. But no, I'm very glad that was encouraging to you. That episode was super encouraging to me because I've had so many people in my life who have talked to me about it and who have shared and who have been, crying, distraught. And I was like, I want to have something that people can learn from, but also can relate to. So I'm glad you were encouraged, but I'm also sorry that you're going through that because I know that must be very hard.
It is. It is. I take it day by day, and I'm always constantly learning and evolving from it, which is a wonderful thing. But I'm celebrating sex when I'm talking about it too, because I think it's the most wonderful gift God has given us, and we have the advantage of utilizing it in a healthy way. So I try to put that out there. And I just started talking about menopause on the podcast because I listened to this podcast called Hot Flashes and Cool Topics, and so menopause fascinates me. So that's a new topic that I ask. I ask, my female guests that I'm close to both personally and on the podcast, because it's healthier that way, less awkward, and I'm just learning about it.
Wow, that is brave of you.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, because you're a guy, it's interesting you'd be interested to learn about menopause.
Why not? I mean, it's a part of life, and I just I have nothing but empathy for the women who go through it. It's like one of the hardest things they have to go through next to sexism in the world.
I mean, I definitely think it's cool that you care about that. That is definitely a topic, though, as a man, you are put in this odd position of how to ask a question like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Without coming across creepy, like trying to say that as like, actually, this is something I'm interested in, and I just wanted to ask how's your experience with it?
Exactly. So I'm curious, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, uh, oh, that's just, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
You can't name several?
Oh, well, okay, but you said one.
Okay, what are your favorite movies of all time?
Okay, well, currently,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lord of the Rings will always be a special one.
Mm-hmm.
That is timeless to me. Um, I like recent movies. I mean, I loved Hamnet. I know that is, super trending, but I actually really, really loved it. I also really love The Light Between Oceans.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen that with Alicia Vikander and Michael Fassbender.
I know about it. I
Um,
haven't seen it.
okay, if you ever get a chance, it is very, very good. It's based on a book,
Mm-hmm.
that's an offer I've been trying to interview for a long time. We'll see if that ever happens. But I love that movie. And then like older movies, I love The Best Years of Our Lives.
Oh, love that with Dana Andrews.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and I love that you know who Dana Andrews is.
Oh yeah.
I will say to people like Dana Andrews, and they'll be, because like people ask who's your favorite older actor, and one of them is Dana Andrews, and people don't know what that is, who that is.
Oh yeah, his brother Steve Forrest was on SWAT in the '70s, the cop show, and he was in Mommy Dearest. And he also did a spy show in the '60s that was shot in England. I don't know how he wound up there because he's American. It was a show called The Baron where he plays a cop, a cop or a spy who goes undercover as a pawn broker. Yeah.
Well, did you? And forgive me, I don't know if he's alive still or not. Did you interview him, his brother?
No, no, no. He's been dead for at least 20 years or whatever.
Oh, his wait, Dana Andrews' brother?
Yeah, because they were
Oh,
like
okay.
15 years apart in age or something.
Oh, and he was older.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, that you knew that. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the master of minutia. That's what I call myself on my description box on my YouTube channel. The master of minutia. You have like top three desert island albums.
Desert, like if I was on a desert island?
Yeah, if you were on a desert island and you had only three albums, what would they be?
Oh, wow. Free. Um, okay. Um, I would go by mood. So if I would make sure that I would have a happy, and then I would make sure I'd have a sad, and then I would make sure I would have like a um futuristic, like heaven looking, because I'd be sure I was gonna die. So I wouldn't even be hoping I would live because I wouldn't. So that there would be those three. So happy, it would definitely be um maybe a collection of Disney like Disney songs from the Disney, like animated Disney, not new Disney,
Okay.
like animated Disney,
Oh yeah.
like Bambi and
The Jungle Book.
right, and Robin Hood. Love the Robin Hood with the Fox.
Hmm.
So that would be my happy album, and then the sad album would be Song of Europa. But
Uh-huh.
it's do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but that's interesting. It doesn't sound like you're a big
It's
fan of pop music very much.
no. uh I the I think it's called Opphia or Ophelia.
Oh yeah,
I'm not pronouncing.
Orphelia.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Horgensen. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, yes. So that would be my sad album, and then my um future hopeful looking album would be Max Richter.
Nice,
Love his music.
nice, nice. So now it's
Yeah, I'm
that.
sorry, I didn't have any pop songs in there. I will tell you, I do have maybe
Hmm.
two or three Taylor Swift songs on my entire liked list, but I do
Okay,
have some.
okay. So now it's time to play my secret silly game. This is a series of silly slumber party questions. No win or lose, just pure fun. And how the game works, Danielle, is I ask you the question, you answer it, then you ask me that exact same question and I answer it. And feel free to comment on the answers because they might be funny.
Okay.
Danielle, are you ticklish?
I am. Are you?
Yes, very ticklish. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
Oh, I had to think about that for a second. It was an outie and then it became an innie when I got older. How about you?
Same, yeah. It went from outie to innie, and it's very deep. It's very deep now. I call it the bottomless pit. What color are your toenails painted?
Blue.
Love it.
You have yours painted?
I've been painting my toenails since I was 13, and they are currently gold and silver.
Really?
Yep,
Wow. Okay.
yep. I do holiday colors each month. What would you say is your best personality trait?
Um, Probably it can be good and bad, especially with people that you need boundaries with. But
Hmm.
I guess empathy.
Yes, you do have that. As I see your work, you definitely do have empathy.
How about you?
I'm a Gemini, so I have empathy and I have no filter.
It's a great combination.
Oh yeah, it's very entertaining. What is your guilty pleasure?
Playing crossword puzzles.
Ooh, nice. I like those.
What about you?
I love eating pizza and watching a laugh out loud raunchy sex comedy movie.
I really love it's not really raunchy, I guess, per se. I love The Proposal. You know
Hmm.
that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like the only one that likes it in the people. Like maybe one other person I know likes it in my circle, but it's one of my favorites.
It's okay. I love Animal House and 40-Year-Old Virgin and The Hangover and all the early Adam Sandler stuff. That's my forte.
Okay, so you're really raunchy.
Yes.
You've passed like the no return point. Okay.
Yes, I'm a naughty boy. And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
That's so interesting. You know, probably um probably deviled eggs.
Ugh. That's bad. That's
Like
yeah.
what?
That's bad. And hard
Like
boiled
just
eggs too. That's the worst.
if you just breathe them in, like you're not eating them, right? You're just breathing them. That smell is not good.
No.
No. How about you?
Either farts or feet. The classics.
Yeah, those are good too. Probably, I don't smell people's feet very often, so I don't know because I don't want to.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know if you plan on having kids in the future, but like people who have kids get used to it.
oh, okay. Well, I guess maybe you need to ask me that again in a couple years then.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for the future of Lament of Hope, and like, who are your bucket list guests, and how often do you drop episodes? I know that's a three-part question.
Um, I drop them twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Hmm.
I hope to be able to do it for as long as I can. I love
Hmm.
it. I'm not tired of it. I
Hmm.
have to admit, the research and the constant, um, brainstorming, thinking. I mean, that is hard, but I do like it. But sometimes I have to intentionally turn that off because I need to rest. Like, I'm like, okay, it's time to do something with my husband or do something with friends or family. I need to turn this off now. I need my brain to turn off.
Mm-hmm.
But then, guests that I would love to have on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would love to have on, people that are alive, not people that are dead. Because there are a lot of people that have passed away that I would have loved to have on.
Yeah, people are living.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would really enjoy talking with Jennifer Lawrence.
Really?
Well, she has no filter,
I
like you.
I know,
It
but
would be very interesting.
she doesn't strike me though as someone who's an empath though. She seems more like she's narcissistic.
And you know what? That may be true, but I would want to give her a chance. So,
Okay.
I also just love a lot of her movies. So I think I would enjoy, or at least I would like to interview her.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to interview Rashida Jones.
I love her. I would interview her. Yeah, she's great. I heard her tell a really dirty joke on a podcast once, and I was on the floor laughing. She's really good at telling jokes.
Well, yeah, Parks and Rec is my favorite. I love it. And she's also been in like Silo and stuff like that. Like, she's really good. So that would be someone to be interesting. And then the last one,
Mm-hmm.
I would really enjoy Mel Gibson. It would probably be a bit awkward just because I've seen a lot of his interviews, but I do really love his films. So
Yeah.
how about you?
Well, like I said,
Besides the lady you mentioned.
Valerie Landsberg. Ugh, that's all that comes to mind at the moment. I mean, the list of people that I have throughout the entire year. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get all of them. I know I can't, but whoever I have on there is definitely ones I want to reach out to. Like I have Women in Horror Month coming up for February. This podcast started out as a horror only podcast before it evolved into everything that I'm all about in pop culture. And I have all these like obscure slasher movie actresses that are on my list that I'd like to get. And then, like these are like horror movies. Some of them I've talked to people from before, and some of them I haven't. I'd like to get any of those.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look out for those in February. I'm interested to see who you get. Like, are we talking about actresses from horror films from like older movies?
Oh yeah, 1981 I think was the best year for slasher movies, and so I'm celebrating the 45th anniversary of the 1981 slasher movies. There was a lot of them that year and stuff. I think that was that to me that was the peak year for slasher.
And you've got those lined up, or some of them?
I haven't reached out to them yet. I'm going to do it on Monday since it's the last week of January, and hopefully I'll have some on the schedule the following week, or the week after that, And I'm gonna see if I can get some romantic comedy actors on because February is also Valentine's Day. It's Love Month, you know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep an eye out because you gotta tell me. Maybe you're gonna get Rashida Jones.
Uh, I doubt that. I mean, she's pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say she's a household name, but she's pretty big. I mean, she's done a lot of A-list great stuff. But I've never. I think I made a comment on Instagram one time about her coming on my show years ago, but that's about it.
Well, I wouldn't sell yourself short. You never know.
We'll see. We'll see. But Danielle, this has been just so wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today. I can't believe how polite you are, which is so rare in your generation. I will continue supporting your show, and anytime you want me on, I'll do it.
Oh, good to know. Thank you. And thank you for having me. This was an honor. I was very, very grateful.
Absolutely. And you be safe out there and have a great rest of your day.
Okay, bye, Tommy. Thanks.
Bye, Danielle. You're welcome. Well, there you have it. Danielle Richardson, ain't she a sweetheart? Oh my God. I loved talking to her. She's so kind and polite, like I said, and I think that there's not enough people like her in this world. There needs to be more people who are kind and polite like her. I enjoyed that conversation. Yeah, I'd like to go on, her show if she'll have me, and I think it'd be a great conversation. And I think that was a great conversation. A lot of relating there. Go check out her show, Lament of Hope, drop Tuesdays and Fridays, and you'll learn something about love and life on that show. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.